What's going on, YouTube? It's Pelfrey, and this is the Red Sea Reefer 250. No really good news or new news to report. I do desperately need to test the tank. I get it. I'm planning to do that next day or two. I just really haven't had time. There's a lot of stuff going on. But as you can see, those green slimer pieces aren't looking so well. My auto top off is down below 2 gallons. I don't have much kalkwasser left in that container. This container is completely empty. So let's take, well, part of the bird's nest snapped off there. There's another piece of it that snapped off over here whenever I tore the whole tank apart. Pumps are really dirty. Sand's still getting blown around everywhere. Tank life, you know, absolute tank life. My plan is to do a couple big water changes, but this is the predicament that I'm in. So I talked about this previously. The pressure gauge on the membrane housing is cracked. I bought a new one from SpectraPure. So here is my new membrane housing. And it's got the slot for the pressure gauge, and they were supposed to put a pressure gauge in the box. And I could probably put this membrane up there with the pressure gauge, but I really just want to wait until I get the new pressure gauge. So they're supposed to send me one, and it's been like 4 or 5 days now, but they are in Arizona, so it does take a little bit of time, which is the downfall to dealing with these small companies. But I do like to support the small companies. It's just that I've had my first Rota unit. There were some issues with it and so on and so forth. And, you know, I buy this for 20 bucks and then I pay $12, $13 to ship it. So I do encourage and I do like supporting small businesses, but I've had this for a week now and I can't even use it. And again, I could take that pressure gauge out and put it in this one, but I just really want to wait until the new one comes in before I get this all set up. And on top of that, I hope that there's enough water in there to keep the membrane wet. Otherwise, guess what? The membrane's going to go bad. So that's part of the predicament. So if we take another stroll here, the other predicament that I have is the fact that, don't worry about the covers from the truck, I got a little less than 5 gallons there and 10 gallons there. So I need about 5 gallons for my RO or my auto top off water to put into the top off container. So that's going to completely deplete this container. I need a gallon to make some new kalkwasser because I cannot go without dosing kalkwasser. I haven't not dosed kalkwasser in a long time. So like I said, I hope the pressure gauge comes in soon. I don't think I've talked about this too much, but I get this pinky filter from pinkyfilters.com. There's a bunch of people that use it, but it comes in a huge roll. And I only cut out like, probably like from here to like there for my filter tray. I don't need a lot of it for my filter tray, but this stuff lasts forever and it's super cheap. It's like 10, 11 bucks. And it's awesome because it's again, it's a small company. But whenever you order something, you know, if you order something, then you place another order, you know, a couple months down the road or whatever. One day I got an email from, I guess, the guy that runs it saying thank you or whatever. I'm like, no. Thank you for providing a quality product for me that I can use for 6 months, maybe even a year, depending on how often I run filter floss for such a cheap price. And it just comes in this bag and I shove it in here and I'll cut it up to my needs. I got the scissors, got the Ziploc bag, so I'll cut a bunch of pieces and I'll have it on reserve. Like I said, it comes in this packaging here. I just cut up a bunch of pieces, throw it in a Ziploc bag. This will go up into my fish tank area here on the shelf. And whenever I need some pieces, got some cut up already. Super cheap stuff. So definitely worth checking out pinkyfilters.com. Everybody says it, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Not sponsored by them. I'll pay the 10, 12 bucks, whatever it is. It's well worth it, and it's cheap. If you can't afford 10 or $12, you're in the wrong hobby, and you should probably not have any hobbies at all. Anyway, as it just so happens, my tank's always been KNO3 deficient, so I'm gonna add some water to this and mix up some nitrates for the tank so I can continue dosing nitrates into the tank. So again, I'm gonna add some roadie water in here, and I'll show you the rest of the process in a moment. I've done an entire video on this, but I figured it was worth going over again just because somebody's probably gonna ask, and I just might as well just go ahead and address it. But anyway, so I have my RODI water in here, and I've used this same can for years of KNO3 potassium nitrate from greenleafaquariums.com. So much so that if you go to greenleafaquariums.com and you look for this potassium nitrate, the packaging has changed, and I don't even know if you can get the jar. A lot of people are scared and they want to go with, I forget what the other version is of their nitrate, but the potassium in here is so minimal that it's not going to affect anything. So there are no instructions on here. There's no way to figure this out. Planettank.net. If you go in here and you enter your tank volume, what you're dosing, I figured up that by trial and error that if I add 20 tablespoons into 591 milliliters of water, which is what this is, it's actually kind of shy just because I need a little extra there for the salts. Each milliliter added of this, once I've mixed this into here, will give me 1.52 parts per million nitrate. So once I mix 20 teaspoons in here, if I take 3 milliliters, that will give me 3 nitrates. Yes, I think my math is correct there. But the Planet Tank, if you just look up Planet Tank Aquarium, this will probably pop up. It's all over the internet, and it's a great resource, no doubt. So like anything else, this does need a good shake. We'll let that shake up and get dissolved in there. I probably need to pull out the Kalk again, and I'll give that another good shake. But anytime you add salts to water, you definitely want to give them a good shake. I do also keep some of these filter floss pads up here, and this is the tray that I use. Octo Aquatics made this. I actually made a template out of cardboard. I may put that video here, and that's exactly what I sent him the dimensions of, and he made it out of acrylic for me, because this is a if you don't know, this is a Triton sump, so it doesn't come with any mechanical filtration whatsoever. So it just sets in here, and that will filter my water, and I will change that out. It needs to be changed out about every day. Since I pulled out the nitrate anyway, I figured I'd go ahead and do a temp check with the Hanna check temp. So the Hanna's saying 78.1. Inkbird is saying it is 77.9. So 78.1, 77.9, pretty close. So thorough 78.1. So happy with the temperature, but the Hanna check temp has been great to verify that the Inkbird is working correctly, and this thing has been flawless. Let's get a little feeding in real quick. So this is Acro Power, some nitrates, some Brightwell aminos, some Brightwell iodine, if you can see that, some Fisher Hex Phyto, sorry about the camera angle there, and 2 frozen cubes mixed up. I don't know if I'm leaving anything out there. I think that's about it. I did add some Microbacter 7 to the tank, which I do about once a week, maybe twice a week, just a little bit, but just a gentle little pour. Really didn't get a lot of frozen food in there. It was mainly liquids. Let's give it another pour. Get the fish moving around in here. Everything is gonna love some frozen foods. Now, again, earlier in the video, in a different video, I talked about the Eheim auto feeder, but I do still feed frozen food a couple times a week just to give the fish something else. And also I like to add the acro power, the phytoplankton and all that good stuff to the frozen foods just to distribute that throughout the tank. So I've only got a couple more things to do with the tank. I don't really think it's worth recording at this point. The video is over 10 minutes long. As always, I appreciate you following along. Be sure to check out the website at pelfrey.net. Check me out on Instagram at pelfreysreef. Keep reefing, and I'll catch you on the next one.